Today I am going to teach you how to do quick player locks like a pro. Many of you guys have been impressed by my player locks and you ask me how do you do quick player locks like that, right? So we will uncover all those things today, but first we need to focus on the basics. This is how I hold my controller. It is a pretty traditional grip. This is how most people hold their controllers, right? I've got my fingers on the bumpers and the triggers and then obviously on the right and left thumbsticks. Firstly, it comes down to practice, all right? So we press in both L3 and R3 to trigger the player locks. Once the player lock has been triggered, that is when we flick the right stick to another player and hopefully select the right one. Let's discuss the basics first. We click in both L3 and R3 to activate the player lock like that, right? And then we flick the right stick towards the player we want a player lock into. Now this has to be done very quickly. Like I said, it comes down to practice. And do you know you can also player lock dribble, which I will talk about in a moment. You see, when we activate the player lock, our player starts running towards the opponent's goal. And you can also fake the player lock. How do you do that? You have to cancel the player lock by clicking in both L3 and R3. Now let's focus on the quick player locking. Okay guys, the first requisite is that it should come from your subconscious mind. You need to be very quick on the thumbs. You have to have enough practice. So you will go in a game like this, in a kickoff game, and then you will practice accordingly, okay? I am going to player lock into Saliba. You see how quick was that? Now I will player lock into Mbappe. You see? Now I will player lock into Xerxes. See that? You see how quick it was? The goal is not to let go of your thumb, okay? What people do is like when they're player locking, they take their thumb off of the right stick like this. You don't have to do that. You have to practice it enough that you do it without taking your thumb off the right stick, okay? Like this. So you will click in both L3, R3 and like that without actually taking the thumb off it. You have to be very quick, and again, like I said, I will choose one guy and I will quickly do the player lock into him. I want to player lock again into Xerxes, okay? See that? So how quick was that? Now I'll player lock, cancel, player lock, cancel. I talked about player lock dribbling. What is player lock dribbling? Guys, see, when I activate the player lock, I can still control sprint. I can still left stick dribble. I can still do fake shots. I can still do fake pass. Obviously, I cannot do the traditional skill moves, but I can do a fake pass. I can do a tactical fake shot. I can do a fake shot. I can do left stick dribbling. I can do control sprint. Why am I telling you this? Because I feel not many people know about this. And even if they do know about this, they are not mindful of it in game. So you can actually fake the player with it. When they see that you have activated the player lock, the first assumption is that, okay, the AI is controlling the player. Now we can tackle the ball easily. And when they come close, you can simply dribble them away and then use the player lock to pass, right? Player lock dribble is actually insane and it is something that you should consider learning as well. But the second thing, you have to go in a classic game or a kickoff game and then practice the player lock. For example, you want to player lock into Xerxes. So you will switch to Xerxes. You want to player lock into Mbappe like this. You will do it quickly, and until and unless it becomes a part of your muscle memory, you will keep doing it. Knowing how to do something mechanically is one thing, but being able to do it effectively in game is another thing, which is why this part of the video is the most important part. In these clips, I am actually spamming the player lock for you guys to teach you, right? How to player lock dribble. Player lock dribble is one thing which you will see. Basically, player lock gives us the ability to quickly maneuver between players, right? As I went from Davis to Ronaldo in an instance. And now I can manually position Ronaldo and go with a through pass. Now see, this is player lock dribble. I have activated player lock. And which button am I holding? I am holding the R1 button. My opponent is confused that, okay, I have entered the player lock, so I might pass to Xerxes. This game is all about the element of surprise. Now I have created the element of surprise by triggering the player lock. I wasn't going to use it anyways. I just wanted to create an element of surprise, which I successfully did. So next time you're playing FC24, consider player lock dribbling. It is insane. It will create an element of surprise even against the most advanced players playing this game. You shouldn't just focus on one guy. You should player lock between two different players, right? See, over here I've got Mbappe and Boniface. So what do? First, I go into Mbappe, then I go into Boniface. I knew I wanted to pass the ball into Mbappe, but this was only to create that element of surprise. And I successfully did that. I confused the opponent and I was able to take a shot on goal. This is a game of margins, and the more margins you have on your side, the better player you will be, right? Talking about margins, guys, sometimes we don't know where we are going wrong. No matter what is your skill level, even the world champion has a coach. So why don't you consider coaching if you want to improve as an FC player? All details are in the description box below. I am playing against one of the best pro players. And how can I actually go from here to his goal? It is impossible without using the player lock, but if I player lock into Mia Hamm and run with her, it is very predictable. So what do I need to do? I need to create an element of surprise. So what will I do? I will first player lock into Hamm, then into Ronaldo, back into Hamm, followed up with an L1 triangle pass. And now I have created this 2 versus 1 opportunity for myself. It would have not been possible without using the player lock. This is indeed the best skill you will learn. I suggest you to do targeted practice. I explained in yesterday's video, I will explain it again. Targeted practice means focusing on one mechanic and forgetting about the rest of mechanics for a while. For the next 10 games, 15 games, you will focus only on the player lock, right? You will do targeted practice. Once you have learned the player lock and it is in your subconscious memory, you will do it without having to think about it. And that is when your attack will go to the next level. If you do it once or twice and then expect to player lock like a pro, then you are wrong. You have to do it without thinking, but for that you have to repeat it. And that repetition will lead you to that successful muscle memory, which will allow you to do player lock without thinking, and your attack will really go to the next level. Subscribe for more no BS FC24 tips and check this video out here to improve your defending.